Welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. My name is Scott.
And I'm Carl.
How is it going, Carl?
It's been better.
Oh, it's been better. What?
Yeah. A lot of.
Why? What's going on, bud?
Well, do you want to get straight into the nitty gritty?
Well,
or do you want to start with positivity?
This is episode 72. Woohoo.
Yep. That's right. And thank you, Jamie. We got a few more subs. So.
Yes, thanks. Jamie was on last week. I'm going to put a link in this week's show to Jamie's channel because I forgot to do that last week.
Uh-huh.
So, I was listening to his show and, nice shout outs there for sure. So, Okay. So thank you, Jamie. Have a great week, Carl. We'll see you next week.
Oh, that's it?
Oh, no, wait. No.
We'll do a show in between. Yeah.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Carl. I don't know.
We'll start with garage sales.
Oh.
Which is not the negativity, but kind of.
Oh, okay.
So I went to the first ones this weekend.
Yeah.
I went around Orleans, right, where I live in Ottawa. And I came across one after like 15 or 20 minutes. And it sounds great because the guy's like, we're just getting rid of, like, the guy they're moving, his friend, a couple older guys moving there out of the house. And but it was all furniture. And then I'm looking around, it's like, okay, there's records. But he said, oh, yeah, we put everything on Facebook. So they basically had sold everything I cared about. So I went back home.
Okay.
But then this weekend, sorry?
Just one yard sale?
Just one. I saw just one after 20 minutes. I'm going back to bed because you know me, I'm grumpy in the morning.
Okay.
Got home, went to the flea market. Everyone I talked to was so happy with garage sales this weekend.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is, next to Orleans is Blackburn Hamlet.
Yeah.
And they had a community garage sale.
And you didn't know it.
I didn't know it. And I think I missed it last year too.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got to have a way of figuring those out. Like, I don't know what it is, but you have to figure that way out. Like,
so my friend went to the Barhaven one and he found so much, not Barhaven, Blackburn Hamlet found so much stuff. So I think my garage sale issue is a wetware problem. We used to call that a wetware problem in programming.
Yeah.
So a hardware problem is there's something wrong with the computer. A wetware problem is something wrong with the user's brain. So I'm not bitter or anything, but it's just like, oh man, it's right next door.
Yeah.
So this weekend there is one coming up in Barhaven, and I'll be going to that one. So,
dude, I can only say this so many times, and I'm going to stress it. And I know you're not going to like me for saying this.
I won't like it at all. No,
you have to get there.
Get up early.
Early bird gets the worm. And don't worry about nobody being out. You're waiting for that one person to come out, and you're going to jump on that. And then you're going to drive around and see another person come out. And then you're going to see 3 or 4 people come out. You want to get there so that you're getting the first picks of those as they slowly trickle out. You know what I mean? You're not, oh my God, I'm going to go next time so that everybody's out and I don't have to wait. No, you want it so that they trickle out. That's the way I want it anyway.
No, everyone says the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. My friend, he goes and helps them bring stuff out of the garage and the house onto their lawn.
Yeah, I've done that myself. I try to avoid that unless there's good stuff. Like, you don't want to be wasting your time either. But if there's a box of good stuff and you see some more good stuff and all of a sudden you're realizing, okay, somebody's passed away here. They were a hoarder of vintage, old, great stuff. Who cares about the rest? You're going to stick this one out. But if it's a bunch of new junk and diaper genies, then you got to take off. Don't help carry anything out. You got to go.
Yeah.
But, well, I'm glad you're actually going to a real authentic townwide. Like, this is going to change your soul, Carl.
Well, I've done them before. They're good. They're very good. They're busy.
But you've never really, maybe I'm wrong. my opinion was you've never really got there early. You've never really hit a small
Which
town.
okay. It's not none of this is a small town. Barhaven is not a small town.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
Orleans. It's a suburb.
Okay, well, it could still be okay. You're
Yeah.
probably,
There
hopefully, it's an
was
older part of the town.
there was actually one in Merrickville last weekend too.
Yeah,
That was like an hour and a bit away or something, and
it,
I
I would drive it if I had to.
yeah, yeah.
I've
But
driven the one that I like. We're actually moving closer to it, but it takes somebody almost 2 hours to get to that. And I went there one year and I really cleaned house. And then I went there the last couple years as well. And I will drive 2 hours for that one. There's one I've driven 2 hours for before, and I will not do that anymore. It is heavily picked, and I just won't do that one. So,
well, the big one in Ottawa is the Great Glebe Garage Sale, and that one is chaotic. Like I was talking to another friend, and he said I don't go because it's nuts. There's too
yeah.
many people.
Well,
Uh,
and we do have some of those around here. And what I end up doing is getting there super early, like super early, and I'm out of there by 9 o'clock because it gets nuts after 9 o'clock.
yeah, Glebe is like that. Um, but actually, Two Dogs Digs, Craig and Rick are coming down for that one, so I'll be
Oh,
going to that one to meet up with them.
wow.
Assuming it all works out there. But yeah,
Well, hey, they're coming to meet you because you're going to be there early, Carl. You're going to be
uh,
there early.
I think Rick is not a morning person either, so
Yeah.
he'll be grumpy and I'll be grumpy. Craig will have to keep us moving there.
I'm not a morning person either, but dude, how can you be grumpy when you're yard selling?
Because I like sleep. My nice warm bed.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I know. But hey, I wanted a garage sale, so
Oh, that's good.
yeah, it started.
That's good.
Um did you get out to any this last weekend?
I went to an auction and I
Yeah.
got beat up so bad. It, people are spending ridiculous money. Like it was even, dude, I think in some cases they were paying over retail without question. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen
And
that.
they're resellers. I
I
don't
know.
get it. I don't understand. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. Like now the stuff I got I'm happy with, but I'm more happy because I got it so cheap. Right? Like
Yeah.
I got two lots. Now these people that the stuff was being auctioned for, I think had passed away, but there were complete hoarders for many years.
Yeah.
Like there was, you know what? You're a collector when you have one of something. You're a hoarder when you have 100 of the something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's in boxes.
And it's in boxes. That's the thing, key thing. Is it in boxes or is it displayed?
Well, I'm going to assume it was in
Yeah,
boxes
you don't. Yeah.
because that's how I received it, and there's no other way you could do it. Like, so I don't know. They weren't sellers, so I don't know what they were doing. So, anyways, I'm not judging. I'm very thankful. However, like I got for $10, I got those great big box of leather wallets. Now they're old and they're vintage. Some are used, some are new, but I can sell them out of the booth, no problem. And then all of a sudden, up comes another lot of the same kind of stuff. And it was in this basket, and I paid $10 for it too. But the basket is a shopping basket, and I sell them for $25 a piece.
It's
But they
funny.
couldn't see the basket for the wallets, and
Yeah.
nobody wanted the wallets.
Yeah.
Dude, in there were nice wallets. There was like embroidery wallets. There was wallets that had been stitched and sewn, and really, really stuff that will sell for 10, 12, 95, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Out of the booth, no problem. And the basket's going to get me my money back on both of those lots. Like, so they were missing those kind of things, which I come in and I'll pick up. I pick up the crumbs. But some of the stuff, dude, they were like beating each other up. Like, I didn't even get a chance to put my hand up, and they were already at like $60 for a $30 item. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's that kind of crap. Um,
It's the spring, maybe.
I don't know what it is. It was like, hey, listen, I'm getting up there in years. We all going to get there, but it was the older people. It was people in their at least late 60s, probably in their 70s, and they were beating each other up for it. Like any type of unique toy. Like I don't think their booths are doing that well. Like, you know, so
I can see
uh,
if you have a personal like enjoyment for that particular item. I can see spending up. Like when I bought my D&D
dude,
books,
it was
I spent up because it's like I want these.
no. It was everything, dude.
Oh man,
It was everything.
I
Like
get
I don't
almost
even know how they
frustrated.
pack it. I watch them carry it out, man, and I think when I'm that age, I'll be lucky to carry that stuff. Like these guys are like workhorses too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I don't know. I like to make money. Like there has to be meat on the bone to make sense for me. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
I know they're not hurting for inventory. Like they can't be because they beat me up all the time.
Yeah. Who knows? Like I think I overspent for some postcards, but sometimes you get caught in the passion too. But yeah, no, I agree. Though, it's like my buddy told me just last night. He says, "You, Carl, you need to buy things cheap." No one's ever told that to me before. It was like great advice from this guy. You have to get things cheap. I'm just Viking Scott here that he says it all the time. Get things cheap, but he actually did say that. My
Yeah,
buddy
well,
actually
you
did say
do.
that.
You got to get it cheap. But
So
I just think I just don't know what was going on. Like
yeah,
these
yeah.
people see unique stuff all the time. They're there every time I'm there. I'm sure they're there when I don't even go. So it's not like they're short of inventory. It's not like they've seen this stuff for the first time. It's I don't I
They get
almost think they're becoming sick.
they got their
You know what I
tax
mean?
refunds.
What's that?
They got their tax refunds.
I don't know, dude. They're like this all the time, but this seemed just a little bit. It was almost like they were at war with each other.
Sometimes that happens too.
Like it was. I don't know. He just kept like when you just keep yep, and I'm like, oh my god. But anyway, I won't ramble on by that too much. But I was really shocked at some of the stuff they were doing, paying for. Um, but so I did okay at the auction. Like I don't think I really paid up for anything. Um, I mean, there might be something for sure. There could be something that I'm not thinking of right now. But I still ended up spending $1,000. So I got a lot of stuff, but
Mm.
it wasn't the great stuff. It wasn't the stuff like, oh wow, man, I could do very good on that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't really, I don't think I picked up anything like that. Right?
nothing that sparked a lot of enthusiasm or joy, right?
Yeah, I mean the wallets kind of did because there's pure volume there.
Well, yeah, but
But yeah, there's nothing like there was like the comics, and I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but there was comic books there. There might have been 75 kind of to 100 type thing, right? And they started at $300. It's only I don't know, say there's 100, it's $3 a piece, right? That's how they justified that high number. I wouldn't have paid $20 at a yard sale. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, comics are funny.
right? Like
Because
there had to be more for me to get excited about spending $20 on a comics like
yeah,
that.
maybe there's something special. Maybe there's a Scrooge McDuck first appearance in there or something.
I would have saw that one. I know that one. No, it was all superhero stuff, and it was all kind of the like 70s, 80s. It was the kind of stuff I see all the time. I mean, hey, listen, I'm the first one to know to admit that I don't know much about comics. But there was no 10 centers, 25 centers. There was nothing like that. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
all very probably heavily reproduced stuff I throw in the booth for $3, $4, right?
Well, I know there's some. It depends on the one, but there's the guy across from me. He has a comic for $700. That's from the '90s.
Yeah.
So, really, it depends.
Oh,
I
they're
don't.
out
If I'm like you, I don't really look too closely. Like out of the booth, I might get $2 for a comic that's non-key. And even then, there's a whole debate whether, we talked about it before, raw versus non-raw and all that stuff. But
Well, if let's say there was one comic in there, I can understand one person knowing, but it takes at least two people to bid each other up. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So that means two guys in there had to know about this one comic, that kind of theory. So I think they were just being crazy.
jerks.
I think they were just crazy. Like I just think I don't know, they were off their beds that day. I don't know. I don't know what
Right.
happened. But
Okay.
anyway, yeah, but I was happy to go. I always enjoy it. It's just sometimes when you're sitting there and you're getting bit up all the time,
Yeah.
sometimes that's a blessing. You know what I mean? Like I really don't need any more shit, but I enjoyed them so much, and there was a lot of stuff there. There was a lot of stuff. Like these people were hoarders, like I said. So the photos were good, and I know there's three more coming up this month, and I just can't go. It won't make sense based on moving and stuff. So
Yeah, for us too, like for the Saturday auctions actually moved to the week at this time of
yeah,
year because they don't want to compete with garage sales, I think. I'm assuming that. So, um it's not that much of an issue, but yeah, you got a lot of other stuff going on in your life. So,
yeah.
and you don't want to buy more stuff and then just have to move it.
And hey, dude, there is yard sales. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah,
not like I'm totally
that's true too,
stopping.
right?
Like, but
Just
I am going to be very, 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 very picky over the next month or so, couple
mm,
months. You know, damn it. But
I
anyway,
know. I
okay.
would bad timing, right?
No, that's fine. Yeah, it's probably a good thing because I'm moving stuff out of here. It's going to be give me a chance to kind of do a cleansing
Yeah.
and focus on what I should be focusing on. So it's like a new beginning, Carl. It's you know what I mean. So
Do it right.
I'm gonna be baptized. Put it that way.
Cleansing
I'm gonna
fire.
feel heavenly and like you know. Anyway,
Get take
um,
some things off your back there that you've been
yeah.
holding on to
So
forever.
yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of that stuff too. That just gets kind of pushed in the boxes, pushed away. So I'm okay with that. But anyway, yeah, that's about it for picking for me.
Hmm.
Sales have been okay, dude. Saturday was crushing it. Like Saturday, I'm like comes out like at the booth, I'm like, wow, this is really good. And then Sunday was like, like it was a trickle. You know what I mean? It was like
What
so
happened?
bad. It was like I'm like, are you kidding me? Like Saturday was killer, and then Sunday is just like, where'd everybody go? You know what I mean? So Steph said the store did okay. So maybe it was just my stuff. I don't know, but
Mm,
Saturday people were liking my stuff. So
just the way the luck is, I guess.
yeah. So I can't complain about the booth totally because Saturday was such a good day. But I mean, I would just love to follow up with like a really banger day after that. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just I don't know. Maybe it hurts less if Saturday was dead and Sunday's really good, but when you end the week,
Yeah, and for me, like Sunday was an average one. Like it was okay, but not enough really to that I would want where I want
yeah,
to move it to. My friend came and hung out again on Sunday, and he's much more uh, not pushy or aggressive, just much more customer oriented than I am. I just
yeah.
ignore them, and he's much more like, hey, if you we make deals here, blah blah blah. He's better at that. But even then, we didn't really push sales that much, and we didn't get that many sales. So it's funny. Smurfs sold again, and my little those little cars sold again. it's
Oh,
it's just
nice.
it's just so funny what is selling.
Well, the cars is good.
I'm gonna pull all my eBay car listings and just bring them there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um, my eBay. I'm just trying to figure out the date when we last talked about this. So I think kind of the 30th was the last day that we recorded the show and would have talked about it. But um, So I'm looking at dates sold here. Again, most of it is toy soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
I did sell a perfume book for $195. I think I started that sucker around 350, and it had some damage, but it was pretty good, and it still had the, I don't know, is it like a rice cover, like a protective waxy cover that goes over it. So it was kind of new, but it did have a little separation on the spine. Not full, but it did have a little bit. Um, but I was happy with that sale. But everything I've been listing was toy soldiers, so it makes sense that most of my sales this week were toy soldiers. Um, so uh, again, like it's my fault, dude. Like I'm not listing what I should be. I've been kind of distracted, so I'll list like 6 or 7, 8 one day, and then I'll won't list for 3 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. I've
And that
been it's talking
what's
about
that?
listing. I've been talking about listing. I've been listing tons of postcards
Okay,
because I got like thousands now, and I sold one for $10 American, which is pretty good. But my point being, I've been watching Sales' store, and I'm trying to beat him on listings. And postcards is such a good way to do it because I can list a postcard from beginning to end in 2 minutes, and I can know for sure because I can see every listing that's been when it's what time it's been put up. And it's 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. So
so is it how many listings you have or how many items you sold?
exactly, I know. And the turnover rate, and in postcards, it's horrible. But at this point, I just want to tell Salish that I have more listings than he does on eBay.
Dude,
And
I just went into your store
yeah,
and oh my god, you got tons of postcards.
it's so easy. I could
Holy
do
Christ.
I and one night I could do and just sitting there and I'll listen to something. I could do like I don't know an hour of that before I start going. Okay, that's enough. In an hour, that's 30 of them, right?
Yeah,
So um, it's just funny. And 30 usually I ask $5 American, so was that
yeah.
150? So it's okay, but sometimes they're better. Like this one sold for 10, so it was one of the ones I felt for some reason it had more value, and obviously it sold probably because it had more demand, right? The other ones could sit there for a long time,
Yeah, and you
but
might get somebody coming in by 4 or 5, 6 or 10 at a time, right?
yeah, that happens sometimes, but
Yeah.
not that often, to be honest. But
It's probably more of a booth, like a store thing, than it is an eBay thing, right? Well, I don't know. I'm finding people come in and they buy a shitload of those toy soldiers. So, but I
yeah,
guess they're going to be different, right? You want, yeah, no, it's different for sure.
no, for postcards I have sold multiple to one person
Yeah.
before,
Okay.
but it's usually one at a time. Uh, but yeah, it was just funny. Yeah, I'm trying to crush him because he's been posting damn pins. That doesn't seem to take him too long.
Do you strategize your listings like all train stations, all
No,
Canadian post
no,
offices, or
no,
any? You just
no.
like whatever you get next. You
I
just
grab. I bought all the binders at the auction.
yeah,
I grab a binder. I take all the cards out, right? Which doesn't get included in my 2 minutes. I must admit, but it doesn't take that long. And then I scan them using my scanner.
okay,
And then once it's all scanned, then then I'll start the listing, obviously. And that the scanner is really quick, but you do have to feed it, I guess. So it's not like it's nothing, but it's not
yeah,
long, and it always works. It's
huh?
not one of those things that's like you're fiddling with it for half the time. It's like no, it's pretty good. It might occasionally jam, but
Well, I
it's
mean, your put
there.
pictures look pretty decent. At least your first one. Let me get into. Yeah, you just do front and back, right?
That's it because it
Yeah.
scans both at the same time, right?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, they look good. I
Yeah, and
mean,
I'm not doing anything. I
you
just
can't fill that space any better. Like
no, I just take. I don't even do any. I might no, I don't do any editing. So when
really?
I scan it,
Yeah.
I can tell it how much space around the card
Yeah.
to put into the picture.
Wow.
So the pit because you want to show the edges of the postcard in your listing.
Yeah.
And so it does all that. It is really quick, but postcards are low value, low turnover,
Right.
but easy. The hardest part is actually finding it the value. So what I do when I bring the pitch when I start the listing, so people are going to be told about postcards whether they want to or not. I have like drafts, not drafts, templates. And so I turn over the card, right? And when I turn over look at the back of the card, I can tell the time period of when the card is. Like
Especially
is
if there's
something
a stamp.
well, I don't even look at the stamp. So
Okay.
there's divided back, non-divided back, white border, linen, blah blah blah. Anyways, I know what they are, right? So
Yeah.
I have a template for each type. I pick the template, right? Create the listing, import the two pictures, the front and back, and then I use Google Lens on the card. And what that lets me do is quickly search for anyone else who has them out there. And then I just pick a price that I do a minimum $5. So if someone has it for $2, I'm not going to even, I can still put it at $5.
Yeah.
And then that's all I do. So if someone has this for 10, I might do like $7.99. I don't search a lot to see if there's a ton of them out there. That's all I do because it just takes too long otherwise to do that amount of research and then list it and go on, right? So I'm not really worried if I'm super undervaluing a postcard because it's not this is one of those definitely but more about the volume thing. So anywho, that goes pretty quick. So
Very good.
and
Well,
and the nice thing is I can do it upstairs. So if at night, like if Amy's watching something and I'm just sitting on my computer, my laptop, I could just like sit there and do this for an hour.
I'm
And
just looking at one of yours here, and you got $15 shipping.
really? Well,
No,
that's a mistake then.
just kidding.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You bastard. Totally got me. I was gonna go look. It's like crap. Yeah, I think I have $2. And these actually will ship to UK, and I actually have shipped to UK a couple times. So, yeah, I think I charged $2 or something for postage, something like that.
Yeah, 270 approximately, buck 96 US,
Yeah,
which is still kind of pricey if it's a $10 card. You're paying 30% on shipping, right?
yeah. No one's complained.
Yeah, yeah. And there's no tracking.
No tracking at all. No.
Now, if you had a card that's like say 30 or 50, like is there a point in value where you would send it with tracking?
Yeah, I think at 30 I probably would.
Yeah. Okay.
And I wouldn't track. I wouldn't ship the same way because right now when I ship, basically on my thermal I print the just like the address. So I
Yeah.
copy and paste it, print it on the thermal, put that on the front of the envelope. I just use a regular envelope.
Yep.
The postcards I have I have index cards that are honestly a little too small, but whatever. I put index cards on both sides of the postcard to protect it a bit and put it into a postcard sleeve
Okay.
and then put that in the envelope and send her off and no one's complained. So
Okay.
you
Yeah.
know, if it was something like $30 plus, I have stay flats. I probably use a stay flat on it, but I don't think I've ever done that. But I have them. And I just use postage stamps because I haven't found a better way. If someone knows and they're in Canada to print postage, like I would love to do that. I'd love to be able to just print like the postage on the thermal printer because I had to put stamps on and stamps are not efficient because I'm often overpaying. But there doesn't seem to be much of a better way to doing it. So if someone knows, let me know. But that's probably the part of the process I don't like is
Yeah.
having to copy and paste that address and then print it on the thermal. Not that it takes long, it's just that if I had a lot of sales, it'd be a pain in the butt,
Yeah.
right? So and that's postcard
Very
talk.
good. Yeah. Well, postcards can be interesting. I know I have some radio call cards, I guess you call them, or ham
Yeah,
radio call cards. I got to get through those. That ain't gonna happen soon. I'll tell you that. Like
yeah. Well, the
not
older ones
until at
you've had
least after.
success with for sure. You were mentioning those. Like I know the new ones really don't have value, but the
Well,
old ones you did really well with. So
those were actually in that lot. They were in the lot with all those cards,
hmm
but they were actually letters in envelopes with letterhead, both
Oh, for the radio stations. Yeah.
for the radio stations. Now those did like super well. Like in fact, I made my money back and made profit because I did pay up for them because I'd never seen this before, right? But I didn't realize the letters were going to actually be in there with all the values. So I lucked out there. Um, anyway, I won't go on too much on the call cards because I don't really know anything yet. I'm just going to learn, but the letters did very well, like super well. Like I couldn't
Mhm.
believe. Like I sold a few of them for over $100,
Yeah,
right?
that was so good. And
Yeah,
we're saying you bought a bunch of shit again, and you
I
picked up
always
one
buy
again.
shit, but it always turns out good. I shouldn't say always, but
There's a nugget of
sometimes
gold in
like
there.
that kind of stuff has surprising values in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So, uh, no, it was fine. Um, but well, I'll it'll be months away before I get to those if I get with them that
dude.
time.
I have so
But,
many postcards. Like I'm looking here. I got boxed. It'll keep me busy for a long time. But
well, I actually found a box last night. Like I didn't find it. I come across it to kind of try to figure out what I'm going to do with them. But the one was from the 1930s. It was a bunch of cards. So I thought, oh, let me just go see what's going on here. And they're selling like lot of 21 for $50, that kind of stuff. So there's going to be money there, especially in the old ones from the 30s and stuff. Um,
for radio cards or for postcards?
for radio cards, for the
Yeah.
call cards,
Yes.
not for the envelopes. These are the call cards now. They're
Yeah.
just they look. Some of them could even be considered postcards, right? Like it's that kind of look to them.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, when people were using ham radios, you would have like I guess an address, like a radio address, or an ID maybe is a better way of putting it.
Yeah,
And you could send a postcard with these on it out to people.
yeah,
It was kind of like what they did, and there's a lot of these around.
yeah. I'm gonna have to go through them though because I actually found two more. They they're folded call cards, but they were actually letters from the station. So they're in there with the call cards, but when you open them up, they actually thank you. They kind of said the same thing, and they have all the letterhead and stuff on them,
Yeah,
uh, and where they're from, which part of the country, which radio station. They're signed. It's kind of the same thing, but they're not on a paper envelope, uh, like a letter type paper. They're actually on one of those cards. So that's been folded to fit the size of a postcard, basically. So anyway, long story short, I'm gonna have to go through them a little bit closely because I might even have some more gold in there. So, um, but I did find a couple of those last night. So, but I don't have time to go through the whole box by any means. Um. So, anyways, that's pretty much it in a nutshell for the week. I did go to that private. Remember, I had a private pick. Well, that was pushed again till the Monday, but I ended up going. Um, and again, it's kind of a privately picked thing. It's more of like I won't get into it too many details because I don't. I'll say it off the air, Carl. But so anyways, I was invited to that, and there's going to be some really good stuff coming up. So
okay, okay.
um, like some paintings that might have some like really crazy values. So we'll have to see. Um, and other stuff too. But anyway, we'll see. So that was fun. I was glad to be able to go through that house, and we'll see where that goes. And that's about it. That's gonna lead me to the end of the week here.
Nice.
So
So I gotta talk about the elephant in the room.
the elephant in the room.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I know this is upsetting to people.
I have
Okay,
no clue what you're going to talk about either.
well, let me put it this way: it starts with a T and deals with a T. So
Titty?
would that be see that'd be we don't want to cut anything out, so we're just gonna keep going. So this week was the next tariff changes, okay? And something big happened. So what happened is as we talked about before, in Canada, there's reshippers. Like they're called Chit Chats, DYK, Stallion Express, etc. Okay.
Okay.
And in the United States, it didn't get pulled back. Like half the things get pulled back a week later or a day later. If an item is made in China, you have to declare it. And what's happened is a lot of people use these reshippers, right? And Canada Post, but we'll just talk about the reshippers for a second.
Okay.
So DYK is one of those. They have a truck and they have packages from a whole bunch of people. They went to the border and the border agents started opening packages. And they found some where the seller, the Canadian seller, didn't disclose or they lied about the manufacturer country. And in this case, China.
Is this in the, like, where did you find this?
This is one from DYK themselves, but also
Oh,
Chit Chats has come out with the same thing. Okay.
okay. So this is like on their
Blog.
website?
Yeah, on their blog. And when the border agents, and this is not Canadian border agents, this is the American border agents, because the stuff is going into the United States, found this stuff that wasn't declared correctly, they turned the whole truck around. And this has happened before, but this was much more serious because this didn't just affect, of course, these packages where the sellers didn't disclose properly.
It affected everybody.
Everyone, the entire truck. So DYK has come back and said, if you do this, we're going to fine you $1,000. I think it was Chit Chats, actually. They came out, but both of them are basically in the same boat. So we're going to fine you $1,000. And there's no first time warning. This is it. But here's the bigger thing. United States Postal Service, the border agents, can fine you 50,000 American dollars for falsifying import documents. And they can ban you from ever shipping to the United States again. Now, I haven't heard of anyone getting this $50,000 fine, but it feels like they are taking this a lot more seriously now of the falsifying the documents. Okay. So
Well,
here's
so let me try to you know, talk through this so that if there's any questions.
Yeah.
So I pulled this up and it looks like it's on eBay and they're talking about DYK Post is reporting. Is that the one you looked at?
it might be a reference to the same original stuff. I haven't seen that eBay post, but they're probably pointing back to the DYK blog or whatever. And Chit Chats has come out with the same thing. So, personally,
Okay.
I don't want to risk everything on a short time period on eBay by not properly disclosing my items. At the same time, the customer, the United States customer, I know for us it's like we've heard all about this, but some of them really haven't. And what's happened now is there's been some reports on eBay forum I saw where the customer got the item and they refused the item because they didn't want to pay the tariff, right? And what happens is it bounces back and you have to pay to get it back. And for me, like me personally, I do sell a lot of stuff in China because a lot of I have quite a few things that are toys. And it could be a 30-year-old toy or 40-year-old toy, but it was still made in Hong Kong. And here's the issue. is finally there's a disadvantage of listing on .com, and the disadvantage of listing on .com is you cannot restrict United States from your shipping policies. You can't say I'm not going to ship to the United States, which has never ever been an issue.
Well, it's been the reverse of an issue. It's been like the reason that you went to .com is,
Exactly,
yeah.
because it didn't.
You were actually talking about excluding shipping to the Canada and only shipping to the U.S.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
At one point.
So this is bad for me, okay? Because I don't want to even risk not being able to go to the United States personally. Like, I'm not really worried. Like, I don't think they're going to charge us that $50,000 thing, but I don't know. And right now, like I said, they're opening packages. It's not like before where there was one truck, but really wasn't a problem. But they're opening packages now, and with Canada Post, it's a little different because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happens. So what happened last night is I'm like umming and ahhing on what to do. Of course, I sold. Guess what? One of the things I bought from the Wrinkle Dog collection, the one thing I listed, actually sold. And it's made in China, and it's going to, of course, the United States.
Right.
So, I could just say, well, it's up to the buyer to worry about tariffs, which is true because the inverse is true, right? Like when we buy something from the United States and it comes to Canada and there's duties involved, that is our responsibility. But in this case, it's a little different because the Americans are still getting used to this concept. Because really, it was the beginning of May. Because in April they did this, but it only lasted like a day before they were like, "Oh, screw it." But now, the ports are actually having a lot, like 20% less traffic or 25% less traffic, because the new products are not being shipped anymore. Because these tariffs are, I think, I don't even know what it is now, 125, 203 billion, who knows what the percentage, but it's crazy. So I'm going to warn this person who bought this toy saying, do you know about these tariffs? Because you could get a bill for more than the value of the product. And I don't want you to be surprised. And do you want to cancel? Because what I don't want them to happen is they get this, right? They say, I'm not paying that. And it reverses back to me, or they're very unhappy and they blame me, even though it's not my fault.
Well, I think what's going to happen is you're going to get people not buying, not knowing, right? So
Yes.
they're not going to know
Yeah.
whether it's going to get hit or not. So psychologically, they're going to stop buying, right? Because other than the toy soldiers, there's really nothing made in China that I sell.
No, well, like I said, it depends on your store. Like if you're selling...
No, but if you're advising people that, or just over time they're getting notified that things are getting turned around or whatever, psychologically they might not know, other than that comes from Canada.
Yeah, they don't know.
So they're just going to lump us all in with China, right?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, possibly.
They're going to put us in the same category as China.
Yeah.
Right. So, it's unfortunate if that's the case. We'll have to wait and see. I haven't dealt with anything yet. I haven't seen anything. So, we'll see. I think our guy went over there yesterday. Hopefully he could make some changes.
If
that's what they promised on. So let's see if they make changes or not.
There'll be no. Oh, you're talking about when
like Carney went to talk to Trump about all this.
Yeah, there was nothing there. It was just the start of this. Anyways, yeah, a mess. Nothing was resolved. No,
nothing.
Even Trump said during the meeting, "I'm not changing anything." During this today, even said,
well, isn't that what he campaigned on, that he could deal with Trump? Like,
no, Trump said that. Trump said, "I'm not changing anything." Anyway, let's not get into that. This is a separate thing.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. Like, so what they're saying is that there's nothing they can do now.
That's what Trump has said yesterday. But even
Okay.
so,
But what our guys say?
he says we want to work with Americans. But
Okay.
I didn't watch it, so I don't feel qualified to even talk about that.
I don't know. I just know he went to talk to him.
Yeah,
I think it was yesterday or the day before. What
it was
is today?
yesterday.
It was
It was
yesterday?
Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
Tuesday. Yeah, so today's Wednesday. Okay.
So bottom line is, I'm going to contact the buyer of this item, and I'm going to say all I just said, right? Like, do you know you're going to be paying all these fees, and do you want to cancel? And then I'm going to shut down my store until I can figure out what the hell to do.
I'm not shutting my store down.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone has to make their own decision.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm not willing to risk at this point, because before, like, things were shifting back and forth every day. Like in April, like, because they made these threats before. This is not new.
This is
January,
not
February,
new.
March,
So yeah.
April. But this time now it's gone serious with this $1,000 fines if you use the reshippers and you lie. And what they said actually is, if you don't know, you have to put US, is what they said. That's not the border saying that. That's this reshipper. Because I have a lot of toys. The bottom line is I have a lot of Chinese made products.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, because I don't want to get in trouble over a $20 toy. That's for bloody sure. So,
Well, yeah, like for me, I don't really care because I can sell my soldiers out of the booth and everything else. But I do have 3 sales today that I don't want to be affected. So we'll have to see. I don't know.
it's been very hard to find information.
And you have to shut yours down because you're .com, where I could change my toy soldiers to only ship in Canada.
Yep, you could do that.
Right.
It's not easy to do, unfortunately.
Well, I'd have to go into every listing.
Or are you on .ca for the toy
I'm on
soldiers?
.ca.
Oh, well, that's great. Then
like,
if you're just
some of
using
my
a shipping
soldiers are
policy, then
going
you're
to
great.
Quebec and some are going out west.
Okay, good. That's good.
So, I mean, they'll trickle out. And like I said, I'm only worried about the toy soldiers because that's really, I mean, there might be the odd toy figure, but I can't really. Pretty much everything is going to be made in Canada or USA or Germany or something like that. So.
Yeah, like a lot of my, like, I have all my Funko Pops off the top of my head.
Well, dude, there's like since the 90s, man, everything is made in China. So
I do so many toys, dude. Like any He-Mans in that category.
well,
I don't even know what I have.
it's a shame that you can't switch everything over with a couple of clicks to .ca.
No.
Right? So that sucks.
If anyone has a solution, let me know. Because as far as I know, I'm gonna have to shut down the store and think, like, I'm hoping they're gonna reverse again. But right now, like, what scared me is them opening packages. Like, that's so different than what they were doing before. And checking to see if people are lying on the import export documents. That's the scary thing. Yeah. So I'm going to contact this person who bought this thing and see what they say and put my store on hold until I figure out what's going to go on.
Well, let's see what our guy can do, and maybe he can talk to Trump, and that's what he ran the election on. So we have to make sure, he said he could do it. So hopefully he can.
I think everyone wants this resolved. No one. Well, you know who benefits from this actually is American resellers.
Oh, 100%.
Because now
and that's the whole purpose, Carl.
Because what's going to happen now is a lot of these companies can't, like, if you're a small company in the United States, that's selling a lot of items like that are new, and or you have a small store, I feel for those people because they can't get inventory, new inventory while this is on, because a lot of their inventory is coming from China. So, but if you're a reseller and if you're finding this stuff, there's suddenly going to be a huge demand for used items because 100%. You don't have to worry about the tariffs if you're obviously already in the United States. So resellers in the United States are probably in for a good time.
100%. And that's why it's being done, right?
So yeah, we'll see. But anyways, enough of that. Like it's depressing. I hate it, but that's how I feel, and that's how Scott feels about his stuff. And we'll go on from there, and hopefully this will all be dealt with at some point. But is there anything else you like? I think that was it. Like my weekend at the garage, like I said, we talked about that. We were talking about sourcing. Yeah. Did you want to? Is there anything else you want to say?
No, not really. I think I got yard sales this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. I got a big
Yeah.
move coming up. Are you going yard selling this week at all?
Yeah. So there's a community one in Barhaven.
Okay.
So I'll do that. For Sundays, I'm trying to show up at the market earlier because there is good stuff outside now. Oh my God. My friend, friend, he picked up this really cool Smith like molds for cannonballs,
Okay.
but not big cannonballs. It's kind of like medium sized or smaller, so bigger than a bullet, right? But less than a cannonball. And he got two of them. And what we think they might be for is grape shot, because they're that size of projectile, right? You can
Yeah.
never fire this out of a these bullets out of a rifle because you take your arm off, right?
Yeah.
But they're too small for like a cannon. And he got two of these things, and they're so cool. And
Like musket balls?
but they're bigger than that. They're like, I don't know,
Oh, I
an
think
inch
I
and a
know you.
half or something like that. I don't even know, like maybe about 2 inches size, and they're molds, so they're like two cups, right? That you put together, and then you can pour it in on the top
Right.
to form a very quick round ball.
Yeah.
We think, like I said, we think it's for making ammunition, but they're not marked or anything. They're kind of like just a blacksmith's quick made tools.
Okay.
And so what we're thinking is like, was this used for like the Civil War? Was this used for something else? Like, how old are these? And he found these at the market. They're really cool.
Huh.
And we couldn't Google Lens them. We tried and we tried, and we weren't coming up with much. So I was saying he's going to keep them because you don't find these things ever, right? Anyways, he got these on the weekend. I was very jealous because I was right there, of course, when he picked these up. So
Yeah, but if you don't
anyways,
know what you're looking at, right? Like that's the problem.
well, these even I know to pick these up.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, because you just look at them and you can just tell there's something unique.
Now,
Like they
is
might
it
be
for
unique.
making one at a time?
Yep. It could be something completely different. We don't know. But that's what it looked like to me.
Okay. Do you
And
have
like
like a photo of it that you can send me?
no.
Or if not, like I don't know if you can get one later on.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He's probably taking them home, put them on the but um, grape shot makes sense to me. I don't know how big grape shot usually is, but if it's just musket ball sized or not. So he was pretty happy about that. Don't blame him. So
Huh. Well,
yeah,
good.
so I've been buying stuff outside and all that, and I bought a bunch of magazines, but I'm not sure if they're good or not. Kind of Wild West storybook magazines from the 50s. So
Well, if the grape shot is it kind of the size of your palm of your hand?
yeah, about that.
Okay, a
A little smaller.
little smaller. Okay.
It's kind of hard to tell just looking at a mold how big the ball's going to come out, but definitely not musket size, that's for sure. So,
Okay.
and like I said, it's handmade. Well, it's handmade, but it's like that grape shot. The size of the shot they made must have been standardized for the gun it's shooting from. Otherwise, that'd be really bad. So, we didn't get into it too much. Well, we tried to. We just didn't have much success. And we showed it to a bunch of people. But you know, it's funny, man. Every time you show things to people, they always say, "How much do you want for it?" They
Yeah,
never tell you anything. How much do you want? And it's like it pisses me off a bit, to be honest, when they do that. When you're asking a friend for information, how much do you want for it? It's like, not what I'm asking. So I kind of stopped asking. But yeah,
all right. All I know is that vaginal irrigator that's sitting on my desk
yeah,
was not made in China.
no, yeah. See, when I'm looking at
It's still sitting right here. That's why I say it. I'm just looking right at it.
when I'm actually looking at molds for grape
Yeah.
shot, it does. It kind of looks like that, but not as sophisticated as the ones I'm seeing online. But anyways, we'll get off that. So do you want? So are you ready for Bolo of the week, or is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're done for that. Now we'll just go to Bolo of the week.
Wake up, energy. We forgot to see.
All right, Carl. So Bolo of the week. You got a Bolo of the week?
Yep, I stole one.
You stole one
again. Yeah, it was mentioned in a live one, but I hadn't heard of it. So, tornado pens.
What?
Yeah, tornado pen. So it's a manufacturer, and they look just like boring pens. You might want to just Google that just so you can see what I'm talking about. At the top, the distinctive thing is at the top. There's I don't know what you would call it. It looks like a file, like a kind of like the pattern of a file for filing your fingernails, you know, right at the top, round, obviously around the pen.
Yeah.
And when I checked, I never heard of these pens before. There's 178 available and 118 sold, so that's a good ratio. Not a ton of numbers, but you know, a good ratio of. And I'm looking at used of available and sold, and they were asking 75 to 150 bucks each is what eBay suggested, and I believe it. It really depends on the pattern, but they're often selling for hundreds, and these are not. Well, some of them might be fountain pens, but a lot of them are going to be just normal pens, and
or pencils,
or pencils, yeah,
like mechanical pencil, right?
Yeah, possibly. I don't know a lot about them.
Okay.
The nice thing about them is it's one of my favorite things, which is the hidden amongst everything else is these pens, or well, I'm seeing pens or maybe pencils selling in the hundreds of dollars, but you can see them because the top is quite distinctive of this kind of like filing pattern thing at the top. And I think the value really depends a lot on the pattern that's on the pen. So a lot of them are going to be, you know, like have, I don't know, coffee, or let's see what else is there. American flag, Texas strong flag. Yeah, one has hearts and stuff like that.
God. Why did you say this? Because now I'll be looking at every single pencil.
Yeah, this is welcome to my curse. Welcome to my curse.
Yeah.
Now some of them are in the $20 range. So, but a lot of them are in that 150. And I stole this from someone else's show. Sorry, anonymous person, but I thought that was great because this is what I like, and I didn't know about it. And this is a section I'm already looking at anyways at the store.
And they're not like, I see a lot of new ones.
They're not old.
I had to click on pre-owned, and I'm seeing some from 1950s.
Oh, really? Okay, but they're still making them. Yeah, there's some old ones, but a lot of them are not necessarily that old. Like they're still, yeah, hundreds of dollars. I don't get it, but it's a pen collector thing, yes, right?
So I see one from 1951,
yeah.
And now I see one from 2014.
Yeah, and they're both valuable.
Oh yeah, well the 2014 is $400.
Is that sold or an asking?
These are all sold, dude.
Oh man,
it's got it's called Cherry Blossom, and the one from the 1950s is only $137.
Yeah, I see the Cherry Blossom one.
It's crazy.
But you see what I mean about the tip? at the back of the pen being
Yeah,
distinctive.
yeah.
Like I said, it kind of looks like I would call it a rasp or a file. I don't know. It's another one of those bolos that unfortunately you're gonna have to look up to see what on earth we're talking
Well, it's
about.
kind of in the pattern of like a chain link fence,
Yep, could be that too.
right? Like that kind of
Zigzag.
like crossing of lines.
I don't know how common these are. Like I said, I didn't know about them until a week ago. So,
Well, they look sort of common. Like
well,
there's a
they
lot of
commented like I
sold.
wouldn't. Yeah, like I wouldn't know. Uh,
I probably threw out about 20 of them last week,
yeah, me too.
not knowing.
I don't think I would even take a second look. Well, the patterns can be cool on them, but I'd probably go cool pattern and then throw it away.
There's another cherry blossom for sold for 378. So that seems to be it also seems to be a fountain pen too, like a combo. But it's 2014. 378 on that one.
Yeah, it's not like these are made of like gold or silver or.
Like
But you know what? People spend lots of money on Starbucks mugs too, right? They want one they want.
so the one cherry blossom I'm seeing is a fountain pen. The other one is a rollerball pen. The rollerball pen actually sold for more than the fountain pen one, which is good. It's interesting. They also seem to come with their own box, like a tube.
Yeah, that's a good point. They do come in tubes. Yeah, like Pringles.
Yeah. Wow. That is insane. Well, I guess the next question is: are they made in China?
We're not even going there.
I don't
Uh,
know. Like that's the big question, right?
oh crap! I don't want to deal with it. Why did you just mention that? Stirring the
Well,
pot.
it's
We just
important. I
we just
might as
gotta
well
like
throw it out.
calm
Apparently.
down. Oh
Oh,
man.
Taiwan, we're safe until China takes over Taiwan. I think we're okay.
Are they really? Are you just saying that again? Because I trusted you last time and you lied to me.
Well, this one says made in Taiwan.
Oh wow. Yeah, it
Country.
does. It
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
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 But that might be the older ones. The newer ones might be made in China.
Anyways, that's my bolo. So we're on time. So let's do yours.
Well, my bolo, it's not going to be as good as that, Carl. But it is something that I plan on looking out for this year.
Yeah.
This is something that, well, maybe not so much now because they probably are made in China, but super soakers.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
So if you look at them and you find them new in the package, they can go for like 80, 100 bucks. There's a pair there that's pre-owned for 310, but some of them do get over $100.
Believe it or not, I have sold super soakers on eBay when I first started.
Really, eh?
Yeah, I'd forgotten it. It was one of the ones with the backpacks.
Oh, so it's probably a good one then.
I haven't seen
Um,
one since, to be honest.
well, I'm looking at one now here that sold for in an auction for $50, one bid, and if it's new in the box, it's $300. I remember finding that exact one, but it was very faded. It worked. Um, I don't even know if I still have it in the garage or if I threw it out or if I sold it at the booth. This was
Yeah.
my early stages, but a lot of pre-owned ones here, 199, 303. So they do get up there. I wouldn't say necessarily go rampant and buy a whole bunch because a lot of them can be under 30 bucks. But
Yeah, I'm taking a look to see if I can find the one that I had here. There are ones with backpacks.
well, I see one with a backpack right now for 206.
Yeah, I didn't get that much. I probably got 80 to 100, and I might have just sold the backpack only. Um,
Now, do you know what the key is here? Is it, are they collecting them like they want the older ones? Or do they stop making them? I would assume they still make them.
I don't know. Oh, they're still making them? Yeah, no, for sure. I
Yeah.
think people want their childhood back. Like a Super Soaker to me is a kind of weird thing to want back, but I shouldn't judge.
I'm seeing one here pre-owned, but it's in the box. 1997. $488.95 is what it sold for.
I think the issue with these is the size, which is why I kind of stopped looking at these because I remember it was a large box, but when things sell for $100 or $150,
Or 275.
275, you can deal with that.
You can deal with that, right?
Yeah, I think
Like I'm looking at a pre-owned one that looks long, but it's $275. 1996. Oh, okay. So 2000 was the model. 1996 was the year. 35-inch. But yeah, Super Soakers.
yeah, that's different.
That's different, right? So
It's the sort of thing that's like, would you sell this out of the booth, or do you think people would be like, "Are you crazy asking this kind of money for a toy?"
oh, if
Or
I ask for 275, even if it's new in the box, they're gonna like complain.
exactly. So this
Yeah.
might be better online.
Oh, this is totally better online for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I could sell a $30 one out of the booth for sure.
yeah. There's like a whole bunch. Like we're looking through the sold and the whole bunch of different models,
Uh,
and I wouldn't say one is one. A few are showing up a few times, I guess. Like this CP 2500, but the other thing with these is like I think you have to test them because the pressure is important. Because if there's a crack or something,
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the value is leaking out. But
Wow.
yeah, that was pretty bad. That was
Yeah,
pretty
it was
bad.
bad. Um,
They're fun though. I did get this volcano thing that I need to test. It's like a thing you plug into the hose and it's a volcano, and it's the same sort of idea. You have to turn and change it to something else. But
huh. Yep. No, $411, dude. Just like, wow. It's new in the box, but it is like a bow and arrow Super Soaker, which, how does that even work?
I found what I was talking about. It's a super soaker too, but it's a volcano with eyes that I haven't tested. It sells for like $40. About it's kind of funny, but it's been sitting in my death pile for a year now.
Nice.
Sweet. Well, those are a couple of different bolos for every. Is there anything else you want to talk about that, or like?
Well, no, I like, I mean, the Tornado pen, like super easy to ship. So that's my favorite right there.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But I haven't
but
found any of these, so who knows? Maybe like what is it? The glassy baby. This might be the glassy baby, which you talk about them, or the Cutco. Some people, I found Cutco, but a lot of people say I've never seen Cutco in my life.
yeah.
So, sweet.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Tina, for stressing us out for another week.
Wow. I almost didn't get one in time today, Carl. But yeah, so there we are.
Thank you.
All right, so should we go to comments of the week now, Carl?
Yeah, I'll start from Spotify.
Okay.
Tina Mac.
Tina Mac.
Great bolos. Not Scott's first one. Wow. I'm not sure what that means, but I was clueless on sports cards. Great guest. Yep. Thank you, Jamie.
Hang on. I know what that means. What was my first bolo?
I can't even remember. I remember Jamie's though with the cards and the numbers.
No, but I had one in the middle, kind of saying, "Well, this could be a bolo too," but I'll just.
Oh! I remember now.
I think that's what she's referring to, but I can't
Yeah,
remember what it was.
I
Oh, I
remember.
know what it was. Yeah, that's right.
I think you guys
I actually
mentioned at
mentioned
some
it
point.
earlier on this show too.
So, great guess. I think Jamie could do a whole episode on sports cards. Why listen to sports cards when you can listen to me talk about postcards for an hour and a half?
Wow. Honestly, they're both out of my interest zone.
I'll remember the numbers thing. That was a great tip.
Well, hang on. You know what? Postcards are great if it's like Halloween or something like that. I would do
Yes.
that all day long
Yes.
for
It
sure. And
subject.
sports cards can be good too, especially if they're in my limited knowledge would have to be the older, maybe like hockey cards or baseball cards or something, right? But
Yeah. Yeah.
so I don't want to totally trash them because I'm not at all. But my knowledge on those are very limited. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. And for postcards, they're almost like all 100 years old when I'm dealing with. They're just so common. Another animal bolo for sure are anthropomorphic cute figurines or anything ceramic: deer, lambs, skunks, bunnies, birds, cats. Look up, look up, look up Miss Priss on eBay. It sells. Oh, okay. We'll do that. Yard sales here this weekend, but didn't get anything exciting yet. Okay, good. It wasn't just me. Are you going to Barhaven this weekend, Carl? Yes, I am. We'll see what time I get there. Nice and early for me, no matter what.
Oh, well, I just looked up Miss Priss, and it's probably from like the 50s, 30s, 40s, I guess maybe. Um, yeah, very interesting. Comes in mostly teapots, but it can be cups, it can be creamers, and it's a cat
Yeah.
face.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen these. I've seen these for sure. Yeah.
So, interesting. Okay.
Wow. Why is that one worth so much money?
It's like I see one here for 384. That's asking.
They're basically
41.
cats.
Yeah.
What can be $13 or $200?
Well, it kind of reminds me of like a cat and a granny
Yes,
combined.
exactly.
But 1950s Japan. Okay. Yeah, 1950s was my first thought, but then I don't know. Some of the colors and stuff kind of remind me of the 30s, but
I find that Japan made stuff confusing to me because I see a lot of that. You know, the 50s, 1950s Japan made stuff usually has no value, but there's exceptions, of course, just to make it confusing. Anyways, great bolo. Thank you, Tina.
yeah. And that's probably something I would come across.
Oh, I've definitely have seen that stuff for
Yeah.
sure. It's one of those things you probably have to check for damage real close, but and like I said, prices can really vary.
Wow. Cookie jar, 185 line through it, but it probably went for 150 minimum. All the way to salt and pepper shakers. So various sizes, right? So
Yeah.
teapot. Yeah. Very good. Mostly blue and white, but there is yellow, pinks.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Cool. Cool.
So we'll go on to YouTube.
So okay, Barhaven, yes. Inier said yes to that. YouTube. So we got 3 on YouTube here. And first one I'll start off with here is from Carverman 613 Siraj. Garage sale bolo question. Excuse me, sir, madam. Would you have a vaginal irrigator for sale?
Nice. Thanks, Sash, for
Any
bringing that up.
vaginal irrigators?
At least Tina just hinted at it without just coming out right there and saying it all.
What's Beavis and Butthead? He said vaginal irrigator.
Ooh.
I used to love Beavis and Butthead.
Well, thank you, Saj.
Yeah,
He bought he bought toy soldiers this last weekend, Britain's. So I was pretty jealous.
nice.
Yeah. Uh, next one is from Nova Scotia Celt, Randy. Hey, Scott and Carl and Jamie. Jamie's doing well with the clothes, but I hate to measure, so not for me. Yeah, clothes I'm just going to do out of the booth if I do them at all because it's easy just to put things on a hanger. That accordion would be a monster to ship. Okay, yeah, I was talking about. I actually did bring back the accordion, but it's not a full size accordion. It's a mini accordion. Still big enough, but nothing like nothing like It's like more like a I don't know, a big monster truck, maybe I guess.
Yeah,
But no, it's not. It's not huge. Not only weight and size, but it could be easily damaged. Yep, that's true with those huge ones. And this one will need a lot of packing, but it'll be fine. Just shipped a Stanley thermo cooler. It was light, but had to find a large enough box. Yeah, those are annoyingly sized things too. If he's talking about the Stanley, like the vintage ones, like the long green ones, that could be a pain because I don't have a lot of boxes where it's like super long and then short by short. Like I have some boxes I have just for bats, but even that it'd be too long. So yeah, that was my problem with board games is they could be funny sizes, which was very annoying sometimes. So I'm going to keep going. Have either of you sold maps for the 1940s, 50s? As I sort through my really dead piles, I found a leather pouch jammed full of maps, some gas station related, and some tourist guides. Actually, I do. I do sell them in the booth, and I have sold a couple of those old ones. They're not quick movers, and they're not like for a ton of money. I think I was selling them between 5 and 10, something like that. And I probably have a bunch in my death pile too. I just kind of need to go through them. Also, the guy who I'm doing commissioning for has some too, and I don't want to mix the two up, which is easy to do. So that's holding me back. But the old maps can be good. There was a $5 sticker on it, and it should have been between 300 to 400 in listings. Wow.
Wow. I've sold a few of them out of the booth. They're a slow mover there. I have not sold them online, but I did bring them home about a year ago to put online, and they're sitting in a box somewhere.
Yeah, and they're going to be moved to the new house.
Yeah,
and
they
they'll sit
will
over
be
there
for
for a
sure.
while.
I have no clue what box they're in. I didn't have anything super rare. Esso, Shell. But one was from the 40s. Most of them were probably 70s, 60s. So I didn't have anything, probably obviously the older you go, the more valuable they are, right? So
Yeah. I got a whole bunch of ephemera I can see just from sitting right here, actually. Good stuff too, but
yeah. And then there
it's
was
hard
like
to
BA, like is that British Petroleum, like BA?
British
BP,
Airways.
BP.
Yeah, BP, British Petroleum. Yeah. Ephemera is interesting because you can often pick it up cheap, but it's often a bit of a pain in the ass. Because like sometimes it's worthless, and you spend a lot of time researching to find out it's worthless.
Yeah.
And it's not as easy to take a photo of like a piece of paper as it is like the postcards. So if I'm going to choose which ephemera I'm going to do, I'll grab a bunch of postcards every time. Unless it's something really special that you can kind of go, okay, that looks worth my time. But it's like everything. It's like I got a lot of it. Put it to the side. It's easy. You go through it when you buy it because it's cool.
Yeah.
And then you just, okay, that was cool. And then you just put it over here
Yeah.
for the next 20 years.
Yeah. I mean, you always find new stuff that's interesting. So it's definitely an eye opener as I start packing this stuff. Like, you got a lot of value here. It needs to be dealt with. It should be dealt with sooner. later.
Yeah, I can see $100 items on my shelf that have been there for months.
It's insane. It's insane.
Um, already sold a Yellowstone map for $20 Canadian. Do you have boxes sitting around so long that I did 3 more?
Oh
Don't
yeah,
remember buying the stuff? Asking for a friend. Yeah, just
yeah,
I didn't even see that comment when we were talking about that, but yes, we do.
yeah. Asking for a friend. Yes.
I know I have like a box over there with fountain pens I need to get.
Well, my friend says yes.
Yeah, my friend also says yes. Always enjoy the podcast. Randy. Thanks, Randy.
Yeah. Thanks, Randy.
So do you want to do the last
And
one there?
yeah, another comment from Randy, Nova Scotia Scout. According to eBay, the deadline for negotiations with Canada Post is May 22nd. Oh, that's another thing we get to look forward to. After that, either party could take job action. By the time you read this, everything could have changed. Now, I think that's still in the works. I think that's still something. That's still something that we get to look forward to, Randy.
This is going to be an exciting month. Yeah,
Yep.
I had been thinking about that, but it feels like, well, the train is hitting me now. I'll worry about the other train coming down the track when it actually gets closer. But yeah, that is a big, because could you imagine? Oh, last time it was for me, it was horrible. Last time we had the strike, the Canada Post strike, I shut down because I didn't want to deal with anything. But last time there was the strike, my backup plan was the reshipper, was the chit chats and all that.
Yeah.
But now I'm avoiding that. So,
Well, and I'm still not going to be stressed about it until it happens. But to me, the post office is more of an issue, although probably a lot shorter than the tariff thing, as long as it only reflects China items. Like if it starts getting to the point where anything coming from Canada falls into that category, then I'm going to be screwed. But
yeah,
it's kind of disappointing because the toy soldiers do so well, and it was kind of a strategy I had going forward. But I mean, it's not the end of the world because I have a lot of other stuff that needs to be dealt with. So, um, and I could still sell them for a bit of a discount through the booth. You know what I mean? There are people buying them out of the booth. Um, the problem is that it was kind of like, especially while we're moving, it was kind of this easy thing to deal with. Well, I kind of pushed everything over there. It was like easy to list. I could do it. It was quick,
yeah,
so it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass. But I mean, that's going to be for 2 months. In fact, I should have all my eBay reselling stuff dealt with within the first week of June. So it's just going to be put right into storage until we move, and then it'll come out of storage and go to that house. But all that stuff, like if everything goes as planned, by the end of May, first week of June, I should have all that stuff going. I'm just taking 3 or 4 shelves a day every day. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't take long to do that at all. But I was kind of like using the toy soldiers as kind of a crutch to get over this little area. So now I'm going to have to change that strategy up. So, I mean, to a degree, like maybe I'll find some toy soldiers made in, Idaho.
Well, they are known for making toy soldiers.
But I mean, it's not the end of the world because, like I said, one of them went to Quebec. So some guys are out in Quebec are buying a lot of ones. They seem to buy a certain line of them. And I did have a couple of guys out west. I mean BC, but they're small soldiers, so it's not costing me great shipping. Actually, if it's just one toy soldier, I I'm charging $15 to ship across Canada, like anywhere in Canada, and it usually gets me under that 200 grams if it's a smaller soldier.
Okay,
Um,
good.
so I'm making a couple bucks, and then if they buy two, it's usually hitting about $17 to ship out like to Alberta or BC.
Yeah.
So, you know, so it's actually not too bad shipping them in Canada just because they're so small and light. But I'll have to go in and try to figure out if I might have to just not ship them to the US. But like I said, for these 2 months, I was really planning on just kind of listing them because they're easy to deal with. They move quick. But anyway, that's
Yeah.
about it, Carl. I don't know
Well,
what
thanks.
else.
Yeah, that's about it. Like, thanks, Randy, for reminding of that one. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I kind of went off. I don't know. I ended up accidentally closing the YouTube link
yeah.
on my computer here. So I'm like, where were we here? I'm getting a little bit lost. And
Well,
then my cousin calls me, so now I'm like, what the hell?
where am I? What's going on? Yeah, well, you got a lot in your mind right now too. So,
Yeah.
but thank you, Randy, for that comment. Thank you, everyone who commented. Thanks for our new subs. Thanks for Jamie for bringing in new audience to our show.
Suckering them in. Yeah, big shout out to Jamie, Thrift on Fire. He's on vacation, I think, right now, but go give his he's still doing YouTube shows. He's still posting some. I saw one the other day, yesterday, I think it was. So go give his channel a check out. He was a guest last week. If you hadn't heard that show, go check that out. And we look forward to having Jamie on again, Siraj on again, and anybody else who's interested in coming out here, let us know. Harry, Humstone.
I don't think he's listening somehow.
Sometimes he does. Sometimes he pops in and says hi.
Well, we'll see. This is his test episode to see if he's listening to the end there.
Yeah, hot dog. If he says hot dog, we know he listens to the end.
Harry. Yeah, you gotta say hot dog. But thank you for everyone else who's listening. This is a shorter episode, but there's reasons for that. Good reasons. So, but yeah, have a great week, everyone. Is there anything else you want to say before you zoom off?
Not really.
Have your weekly shower before you meet up with the
my weekly shower. Don't give me so much credit, dude. It's usually once a month, whether I need it or not. Just kidding. Just kidding. Anyone out there? I'm just kidding. Yeah. So no, I have nothing else to say. I'm looking forward to actually having my first real weekend of yard sales for the year.
Yeah.
Like legit type yard sales, So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. But I have to keep reminding myself to be very picky and choosy, both on price and quality and item wise, because I have a lot to deal with here. So
hopefully you won't see any big blow molds for like 25 cents this time, or 10 cents. Sorry, 10 cents.
Well, hopefully I do. As long as they're not made in China, Carl, I'm okay.
Right? Oh, the blow molds is the opposite of small. That's what I was trying to get at. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I see. Well, they'll sell out of the booth though.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and they can be made out of China.
No problem.
So, what? So, are you really seriously closing it down? Is that what you're going to do?
I don't know. I am unwilling to take a risk on the stuff I'm shipping to United States.
Yeah, but so
and
you can go on vacation, but what's going to happen then?
I don't know. I don't know, because like I said, I'm going to let everyone know what that person says, but I'm going to email them after the show, that person who bought that item, and say what they said. But no matter what they say, I can't think of a solution for my store that I'm comfortable with, because what I don't want is someone getting something and getting really upset when they get that unexpected, because it's not a little, it's like 125% or something. I don't even know, but It's a lot. It's not like just $10. It's going to be double the price plus a bit. So I don't want that because they could give me an egg, and then eBay. You never know what eBay is going to do with those negs. They're going to say, "Well, that's their opinion," and I don't. It's not worth it. And like I said, this is not how I make my money, so I don't need that. And I'm not really scared. Well, it's not worth it for me, right? So
Well,
I'm gonna have to figure out what to do. If I could just switch everything to Canada only, I would do that, but I can't.
well,
So
you
yeah,
didn't even want to ship to Canada in the first place, so why would you ship to them now?
yeah. I can't remember what I said, but I may have said
Well,
something
you
like
said
that.
because it can cost so much in shipping
Yeah, I
that
prefer
you'd
American
rather not
sales.
even sell to Canadians. You'd rather just sell to the U.S.
Yeah, because I get more of the money because you pay fees on the shipping, right? It's not that big a deal.
No, but that's what I know
Uh,
that you said. I don't remember what I said. Oh, I'm just saying
oh right, yeah, yeah.
that
No,
was
I really, I'm. You know what? Honestly, what I should do. Well, it's a mess. It's a mess. Like if I had .ca only, I would be finally looking into shipping to Europe a little better to make up for the market. But it's so hard. I can't just replace 80 to 90% of my sales that are to United States just like that, right? And I don't know what's going to happen because let's be honest, things change from day to day, from week to week. And we're such small fry in terms of what's going on.
well. I'm just you know what? I had like 14 items go out on Monday, and everything right now is at customs. Like it would be
Well,
that would
it's
be the timing. You know what I mean?
yeah, but it is Wednesday, so it's only had 2 days to get from your
That's what I
area.
mean. So one of them is was presented to customs, and then it went to the Chicago facility.
Well,
So
that's good then.
that's good.
The other thing that's happening too is not all border ports are being treated the same. So you know what I was talking about DYK having issues?
Yeah.
They said one place we went through no problem. The other one was a huge problem. So it's not being treated the same everywhere. And like I said, that's with these reshippers. I don't know if Canada Post is dealing with this issue at all, and there's no news on it. It's impossible. Like I asked on another channel, their live channel, from a Canadian seller, and I said, "Have you heard of any problems?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I've heard problems with DYK chit chats and Canada Post, but I don't know if he was just saying that or if he actually had heard of issues with Canada Post because I haven't." So you know. Uh, it's very gray right now.
Yeah. Well, one was delivered. That one was delivered yesterday. Shipped carrier scan May 5th. Yeah, so we'll see how the other ones went. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, you can only do what you can do. Okay. Well, we'll see. Everything I sent was through Canada Post. So that's still a shitload of parcels going through Canada Post. What I might not do though, I don't know if they go through. I'll keep putting eBay tape, but I'm just wondering if maybe I shouldn't put eBay tape on it because it's
Okay, I'm
screens
listening.
sold.
Scream sold.
Or should I put eBay? Because it screams, yeah, just a guy working out of his basement trying to make a living. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think the border agents.
Oh, they care. They care.
Oh, okay, good. I'm
Oh, they
glad.
care, dude. They care.
It's funny because someone made a comment somewhere else that they're gonna have a lot more time on their hands because a lot less stuff is coming in through the ports. But that's a different location.
Well,
So
now I'll have to go back and check this because it was only a headline. but somebody had wrote that in the next, I think this was in California, in the next 5 to 7 days, the shelves could be empty in
Yeah.
stores
Yeah.
because all these I think sea cans is the right term, right?
Well, sea containers is what you're talking
Sea
about. Yeah.
containers, right? Sea can, um, are just piled up at the docks.
No, it's the opposite. Because there's none coming through because they're canceling their sales.
Well,
Unless
I
you
don't
mean
know.
like empty ones. Are you talking about empty ones?
No, I think they're full. They're just not coming off the ships. Like they're just being stocked. Like nothing's coming off.
So,
They had a big picture on the thumbnail of them
right.
all these containers.
I'll have to look it up. That I guess that could happen if people are rejecting the acceptance
Yeah, that's what I
because there's a
think.
lot less traffic coming across.
Well, I'm assuming they're rejecting the acceptance of them. Is what I'm assuming.
That would make sense for that dual scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't looked into it too much. I just saw that.
So, let's dive into this for a few seconds here, because this is very important to resellers, and maybe we can ignite some sort of conversation for the next show.
Because like for people who sell Chinese goods, this is a big deal, but we're not really those people, right? Like when I mean Chinese goods, I mean new Chinese goods, right? Like,
Right.
but that's not really us, and probably not much of our audience, to be honest.
No,
Most
and
of
the
us
My
are,
Toy Soldiers are in a box as big. Like,
and they're used, and they're like, you know,
yeah. But I mean, hey, I don't know what's being turned back. That's the problem. I don't know. I don't have I don't have any answers to the questions that I would have as a result of this. You know what I mean?
well, the ones that were turned back are the ones where people are lying on the import documents. If you wrote,
Well, of
put
course.
China on the document, it will go like it's not like it's
Of course,
banned.
because
Yeah,
they're just going to charge the duties to it, and that's fine.
yeah, and
It's
there's
when
two
you're
types.
lying for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
They
and there is
want
two.
you to bring it in so that they can charge those duties. They're making money off all those
Oh
duties,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yep, yep.
So, um, I'm just trying, dude. Honestly, I had a whole kind of like statement thing there, and it went right out of my head. Like we started talking about the sea cans and all that, and then I'm like, where did it go? Oh my god, I think it's early stages.
You're talking
But
about
I
empty
will,
shelves. You're talking about empty shelves.
yeah. I don't know. I
Okay,
don't know. It'll come back. Maybe we'll talk about this again next week. Well, we'll have more information, right? So
I hope so.
yeah. Well, I would think so. I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to be positive.
No, I just want any information to be honest, like because it's not like everyone knows. Like when I've asked at the Canada Post counter in
Yeah.
the past, it's like no idea what I'm talking about. But this is, anyways. I don't want to keep going around in circles. It's like I said, I don't want to risk things for the sake of a few dollars. So I'm not gonna
Oh, for
play
sure.
with it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that's the right way to go. It's just what I'm gonna do because I like with this one person, I think they don't know they're gonna get this bill, and I don't care if they cancel the sale. But I'm not. Anyways, I don't want to talk about it too much. It's crappy. It's crappy for everyone. Hopefully, this will all be get dealt with. But and then we can worry about the strike, the Canada Post strike.
Well, that is going to be more of an issue for me. Is a strike. Um, I mean, I'm hoping we can come to some sort of resolution. I don't think like let's take all conspiracy theories out the window about any of our
Sounds good.
fearless leader runners or electors or whatever. I don't think anybody wants to see the country fail. You know what I mean? I don't think we're out to see people get annihilated and destroyed financially or anything like that. So I think they're going to understand that we have to do something with this post office thing. You know what I mean? Like, are you in agreement to that, or do you think they just don't care and they're just going to run it amok? Like,
I
I,
I have
I,
I have scars from December.
I actually went through it in very little injury.
Oh,
I
really?
would,
I was doing my financials, and like December was one of my worst months. But that's when I shut down
yeah, but you
because
shut it down, then that's different, right?
yeah, but I shut down because of the strike.
I would say that it was a good one. I think there was, but I kept it going. I just went UPS. I was taking a lot of
Yeah,
stuff to UPS. I
yeah,
think it hurt a little bit, but because it was Christmas and people were buying, it kind of offset it and made it kind of like a normal.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
never got this huge kick, but it never really stopped. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I think there was a couple times where I might have lost a little bit because I had to pay extra shipping,
Hmm.
but I still processed the stuff and did okay.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not saying I didn't feel the effect. Don't get me wrong. I think I did, but not to the extent like where it was like overly devastating.
Well, the nice thing too is you had the diversification where the booth was doing well at that time,
Yeah, 100%. The booth was doing great, and like
right?
I said, Sunday was a little bit of a scare. So we'll see. Saturday was great. Sunday was like, you know what, Carl, and I don't want to get too far into this because I will have to go soon. But I am noticing a lot less vehicles. There doesn't seem to be heavy activity. It's almost like the economy is slowing. Like I'm seeing effects. Now it could be just the time of year,
Well,
but
they did talk about the first quarter of the year was not good.
yeah, and I'm seeing that here, which this is pretty robust area. Like a lot of farming, a lot of factory, a lot of different things here that if I'm seeing it here, there could be something to say about that, right? Like you know what I mean? Like
Southern Ontario is in the most dangerous, but we talked about this last week, and last week you were more optimistic.
oh, I am optimistic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What more optimistic about what though?
Well, we were just talking about like, have I might have been off air. I can't remember, but I asked you like, how are things? Because I heard it was bad. But you're saying like with the car factories, but you said they were actually putting on more shifts and stuff like that. I think that's what you said.
They just went Toyota just went through a big hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like they're not hiring right now, but for the last probably month they were hiring,
exactly. So
right? So now they just process all those people and then
mhm,
they'll if they need more, they'll come back. But right now they just fill that hiring pool and then once
yeah,
that's depleted, they'll hire again. But they've always done that. I would
right.
say probably in the last 3 years, it was almost like consistent hiring. They couldn't hire enough.
Hmm.
And now they're kind of back to that normalish. That's Toyota, right? That's
Right.
Toyota. Um, but there was a period there where my son was having a tough time finding work,
Hmm.
right? Now he's got a great job. He's really happy with it, but it took him a while. Funny enough, he also applied to Toyota, which he really didn't want to do because he doesn't like the shift work. And they kind of called him at the same time.
Hmm.
So he had that interview thing at the end there, and he just called them up and said, "Listen, I just got this job. It's 10 minutes from where I live. I'm going to take it because it does pay well, but I just want to call and let you know I won't be showing up, and I just hope that it doesn't affect my chances should I want to apply in the future." And they had no problem. They said most people don't even call, right?
Yeah.
So they
Exactly.
were
Yeah.
just appreciative of the call. Um. So anyway, I'm kind of digressing there,
What
but
I'm
as
saying
far
is like it's so hard to tell. Like I know the first quarter of the year was bad. Like uh I think the United States actually shrunk. And I hear probably the same thing. But it's still too early. The first quarter was kind of like before things started, like things were starting to happen, but
yeah,
not, it was more fear based than anything. It's this quarter now that's we're really going to see because now it's much more about what's actually happening.
what's actually happening. Well, yeah, we'll see. I think if I gotta say one thing, if I go to the auctions, people are spending more money than they ever had,
Hmm.
which is insane because I won't partake in that. Um, and I think people were buying like the booth was doing well. We had a
Yeah.
few days that were and then all of a sudden we had some really good days. But I'm talking about like when I'm at line in the Tim Hortons, they're not as long. There's not as many people driving. Today I went and grabbed a McDonald's coffee and uh, just down the road here, and I just felt the highway at 10 o'clock. The town seemed very quiet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like at what 9:30, whatever. I just find that there seems to be less movement. Where in
Okay.
good times, there's like transport trucks, there's all sorts
Yeah.
of stuff going around. You know what I mean? People at restaurants, they're packed every night. I'm not seeing that right now.
Well, where you are, right?
Yeah.
You're on the lake, right?
Yeah.
So you're not on the border. You're not a border town,
Oh, well, no, not at all. Like, I
right?
mean, across the lake is our border, but I mean, we
Yeah,
don't.
but you're
Yeah.
not. No one's. You're not shipping across there. You're
Right. Right.
so. What I'm curious about is those places that actually sees the traffic crossing that border. What the effect? Like so much of it, it's so hard to tell. Like what do they say? A recession is when your friend loses a job. A depression is when you lose your job.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard of anyone losing their jobs around me, but I
Well, I
wouldn't.
think the problem is I think there's okay. I'm going to say this. I think there's a lot of jobs out there. I just think there's a lot of jobs that pay shit compared to the cost of living. That's the problem.
Oh yeah.
I think if you want to go get a job for 17, 18 bucks an hour, they're a dime a dozen. But
Yeah.
what are you going to do?
Life
Right?
costs $20 an hour.
Or 25 or more bucks an
Yeah.
hour now.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, and the other thing is you could work 7 days a week, all sorts of overtime. Well, then you ain't living, you're working. That's all you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations. Do you work to live or live to work? So
It's for my opinion, it's still too early to know. So often when we have a recession, we don't know until we're well into it because all information is lagging.
well,
But
I'll tell you this. I don't even have to know if gas prices go up, if the post office goes on strike, and we're getting hit hard with tariffs like to no end, we're going to go into some sort of deep recession or more, no matter what anyone does. So,
yeah.
like, we need to control that post office situation and keep gas prices down and cost of living bearable so that people can work and at least do well. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it doesn't matter what we say or do or hear. Like, we're in for some tough times. So, what was that article that came out about people will have to? I don't even know, dude. I heard it briefly. Something about people will have to by 2035 will have to hunt for their food and all that. Did you hear about that one?
No.
Look that one up. That was a study done by the government.
Yeah.
So check that one out. Something about they will have to hunt for their own food or something like that.
Okay.
I'm like, dude, just live around here, man. That's a sport. that's a sport. People have their own garden. I mean, to live through a whole winter, that would be pretty tough. But
We should go because you're running out of time and we're totally off into the fields at this point.
yeah, well, we can always cut it out if it gets too crazy. But all right, well, we'll leave it at that. And thanks for coming out, Carl. Hopefully, we'll be able to see you here next week.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll let everyone know how it went.
Yeah,
but
I mean, is there any asteroids coming?
No, I think
week?
that one missed.
That one missed, eh?
We got to wait for the next one. Yeah.
Okay. Any Bigfoot news or anything?
No.
We need Harry on for the Bigfoot news.
I was looking at UFO stuff the other day, but it's always the same thing.
Yeah.
Some blurry picture of like, oh, this is totally not.
Oh, that's so irritating, dude. I used to love those stories, and it's just so. But they are fun, eh? Like if they could, I don't care if the guy dressed in this. Dude, there is one. I'm gonna send you a link.
Okay.
There's one guy who goes, "Oh my god, it's Bigfoot," and he goes, "Look at him running through the woods." And then I don't know. And then he's done a few of these. These are old. These are probably 15 years ago. And then he goes, and then he's got this porcelain toilet bowl out in the woods, right?
Yeah.
Oh my god, there's Bigfoot. He's taking a shit. Bigfoot's on the
Oh
toilet.
my god! And then some people still believe it. That's the thing that drives me nuts.
But that was the clearest. That was the clearest video of Bigfoot I've
It
ever
could
seen.
be real though. It could be. Yeah.
And then Bigfoot, I don't know. It was really funny. I should go back and look at that. Like, it doesn't take much to my sense of humor to spark funny bone. But
Hey, I still was looking right for the UFO stuff. I still, once in a blue moon, I'll just like go to Reddit and I'll look at the UFO stuff to see what is gonna happen for sure next week on this date. For sure, they're gonna say. And then always something happens where it doesn't happen, and it's like, oh, okay, but the next week for sure. And it's been like that for like 20, 30, 40, actually 60 years, 70
yeah.
years.
Well,
It's
there
like,
was
okay.
one a year or two ago where those guys, I think it was New Mexico. But they said that there was aliens that landed in their backyard and they called the cops.
Yeah.
Did you remember that one?
No, but there's so many of those things.
Dude, these guys were like, they showed the 911 call. These guys, there's 2 aliens in our backyard. And, and the cops, they must have cleverly edited it because they did call the cops and the cops did show up. The cops are saying, like, they're even saying, like, you're not going to believe this, but this guy's claiming that there's an alien in his backyard. And he seems pretty legit. You know what I mean? Like they're talking like this, like cops are, right?
Yeah.
So they wait for backup and then they go in the backyard and they're saying that these guys are like 10 feet tall. And then the one guy goes, yeah, he tried to get on the dope bulldozer and drive it. And I'm like, you fucking idiots. You had me. You know what I mean?
I know. And the funny thing, those 911 calls, they always sound spooky at night.
Yeah, they always happen at night, right?
Yeah, but it always sounds so spooky because it's like, it's like, hey, I see something. It's pretty good. But yes. Well, and my favorite one is like, no one's paying attention. Like, there's all this evidence, and it's like, I know you believe. I get it. I want to believe, but we need a bit more.
He's trying. Yeah, there's one on the bulldozer. He's trying to drive the bulldozer. I'm like, buddy, that's not an alien. That's someone stealing your bulldozer.
Yeah.
But oh my god. But it was like all over the news and everything. But anyway. But it's always the same crap,
It is.
All right, bud. So I don't know. That'll do it for this week.
Have a great week.
Yeah, you as well. We're just to let everybody know we are on Spotify and YouTube, and we're audio only. So we're here every Friday. Yeah. I think last week was Saturday because we were busy on the Friday. So I had to.
Yeah.
Actually, I did have the video done. It wasn't done. It was edited on the Thursday till 2:00 in the morning, Carl. And what I had done is because we recorded it in different segments.
Yeah.
I was an idiot. I started splicing everything as we went along. And then when you got little splices and you're trying to put them all back in order.
Yeah.
So I basically edited the whole thing and had to redo it.
Oh,
and then I was busy Friday. So I just finished it up and posted it Saturday. So sometimes that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, we're here every Friday. That was a long-winded way of saying we're here every Friday.
Yeah, I know, right? And all I think is, thank God you're doing it and I'm not.
Oh my God, it was so frustrating. But all right, everyone, thank you for showing up. Thanks for the comments. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, tell a friend, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.